Come in, Ray.
Pinkman! I saw it!
It's right here, Ray. It's looking at me.
He's an ugly little spud, isn't he?
I think he can hear you, Ray.
Don't move. It won't hurt you. What happened? Are you okay?
He slimed me.
That's great! Actual physical contact!
This boy and girl, coming home from school, greet their dad as though they are genuinely glad to see him.
Hey, Dad, look. Bedpans.
As though they had really missed being away from him during the day and are anxious to talk to him.
Dad is great! Give us jobs again!
This is the time for pleasant discussion in a thoroughly relaxed mood.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Hallelujah. Praise the Lord.
What's up, Dad? You're listening to Dad's Getting Grounded, the podcast for dadshideout.com. This is going to be episode number 82, and I am your co-host, Jeremy. With me this week, we have Dan.
You are deluded, Captain. You pretend to be a simple soldier, but in reality, you are just afraid to admit that we have left humanity behind. Unlike you, I embrace it proudly, without fear.
We're going to have to put no more Marvel quotes. From
Well, I was doing that because Christian's not here.
Oh, okay. It's all right as an homage then, yeah. Was that the first Captain America?
Yeah, but who was it?
Okay. The Red Skull guy.
Yeah. I was trying to do my, whatever his name is.
Red Skull guy.
Yeah, well, no, yeah, I can't remember his name. It was Mr. Anderson, too.
Oh.
Okay, never mind. I'm closing out the window.
Good job. We also have Damien.
I'm bored, man. There's nothing to do.
That sounds like my daughter.
Oh.
That's it?
Would you f me?
Oh,
jeez.
Me.
I always got musical. What happened? Did we get two different quotes?
I don't know.
No, it's one, but it's
Silence of the
movie
Lambs.
Quoting another movie.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, Joe Dirt.
No.
No?
No.
I got nothing.
I thought one of y'all said it.
I said Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, Silence of the Lambs. No, that was it was in Clerks 2. Jay's all, I'm bored, man. There's nothing to do.
Oh,
and he
man.
just walks out to the street, and then Silent Bob starts playing.
That's right. He did. I remember that.
Oh, and he starts dancing. Yeah.
Oh. Would you f me?
Oh, jeez, man.
I'd me.
There we go. Nothing but bleeps.
Edit this. I don't have to edit this. With me, we also have Christian has a family thing tonight, so our thoughts are with him, and hopefully everything ends up well. But in his place, there are some pretty big shoes to fill, but I think we did a pretty good job this time around. We have Derek with us, who you may know as Detroit Slasher from the Open Forum radio show. So welcome, Derek.
Your client's a scumbag. You're a scumbag. And scumbags see the judge on Monday morning. Now get out of my office and take Laughing Boy with you.
Andy Griffith.
What?
It's not Andy Griffith?
No? Apparently not. He would have said yes.
Oh, man. It sounded like Andy Griffith.
Think about my gamer tag.
Was that my cousin Vinny? No.
No.
For some reason, I think it was like something that Judge would have said something like
Is that RoboCop?
It is.
that. Oh, dang it! Oh! Man, Damien's quiet. He was just like,
I can't believe that. I don't remember
Who
that
said that?
quote in the movie.
Well, in the police precinct. I don't remember exactly. It's been a little while.
Good job.
All
But
right.
with my name being Detroit, I gotta represent RoboCop.
Did you pull that out of memory, or did you Google that before you?
Well, I pulled the movie out of memory, but
okay.
I went with that quote off the internet.
Okay.
Nice.
There's so many to choose from, but
I know, it's
most
like,
of them are so
Nice
obvious.
car. It looks like mine.
Well, welcome, Derek.
Nice car.
why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, as is customary with our guest dads? Anything you want to tell us about your family, your work, any of that good stuff? Last bowel movement and color and consistency, all that stuff.
Well, it wouldn't be a show if we didn't talk about that.
Right.
Yeah, well, I'm a co-host of the Open Forum Radio Network and the Open Forum Radio Podcast with Timo, Vlads, and Jay O'Malley over there, and our leader, Blue Man Rule. And we do a community podcast for our OFR community, and I haven't had a bowel movement yet today, so
man,
probably be after the show.
Slacker.
Yeah, I thought you said this was a good guest, Damien. What's going on?
But
I've had several.
What? Hey, in my defense, I've been losing weight, so I'm eating a lot of salads and wraps. So there's
So you
not
should
a
be
whole lot.
pooping more. You gotta get rid of your fat.
So leafy and loose. Got it. Perfect.
Right on.
Does it have a green consistency too?
I don't know. I haven't checked since I drank Gatorade.
Are you checking your feces?
Absolutely. I sniff it and everything.
You weigh it out, or you're like one of those people who like who
Oh yeah.
the,
I get
the
on
input
scale
output.
before and after. I'm like, yes, a pound.
Oh, it's quality podcasting right here.
It's great, man.
Yep. And I'm a gaming dad. I've got 2 sons. We have a house full of TVs and consoles, so we're a gamer family over here. But I don't, I do a good job watching them. I'm trying to raise them right. I don't just let them free for all anytime and play what they want. So they are supervised. But good. They're good kids, so I don't really have to do too much. So cool. I'm very blessed.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, again, thanks for coming on. And I think at this point we'll probably hop into the family type stuff. I got a lot for a change because we had a lot going on this week. So I don't know if you guys want me to go last or.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say why don't we let our guest go first? Right?
Okay.
We can talk about our family stuff, new stuff.
Well,
all right.
I finally got my chance to come on the show, and I was like, you know what? If I ever get on that show, I'm not going to bring it down like Damien.
Hey, man.
But unfortunately, this week has been a bad week for me.
Oh, man.
I know. We lost my sister-in-law.
Jeez.
Yeah, she went to sleep. She took a nap on Sunday night, and her husband checked on her a couple hours later, and she was unresponsive, so they rushed her to emergency. And they had to inject a cooling into her brain to get the swelling down so they could see if there was any kind of brain damage because they don't know what happened. Mm-hmm. And she was taking some medication. She was having some problems with her ovaries. And then they tried to increase her body temperature like 1 degree per hour so that way they can diagnose her and see what happened. And she was not breathing she was only breathing through the ventilator. She wasn't breathing on her own. And then they were supposed to make a decision as a family on Wednesday. She had no brain activity. And they were going to do it, and the husband freaked out and didn't want to do it until Thursday so he could bring in like a brain specialist to, give him some hope, I guess. But, when you don't have the brain activity, unfortunately, that's bad news. I mean, anything else, you can pretty much hold on to hope and hope for a miracle or pray. But, the no brain activity is bad news. So unfortunately they had to call it yesterday. So unfortunately it's been a really rough week. That was my ex-wife's best friend. And she was my friend before I even met my ex-wife. She helped me through my divorce and everything. So it hurt, but we're getting through it. The family's got a lot of good support. Her daughters are at least old enough to where they can handle it. I think one's 21 and one's 17. So not that it's any, ever a good time, but at least they're not, 7 and 10,
Right.
So, but
I'm sorry to hear that, man. Condolences.
Yeah.
For you.
I wasn't on Open Forum Radio this week because that was going on when we were supposed to record, and I just couldn't do it. You know, and then I went to a Disturbed concert this week, and I hesitated posting all my pictures on the Facebook because I wanted to be sensitive to the family, like, you know, what they're going through, and I didn't want.
You don't want to be posting yourself rocking out.
I
Say,
know.
hey, look at me.
I know, but you know, I had the tickets for like 2 months, so it was like, you know, I couldn't not.
Right.
So,
Oh yeah.
So it's been a rough week. So I'm enjoying a nice rum and coke today, and I'm on the Dad's Getting Grounded podcast. So
Yeah, and we're glad you're here.
Absolutely.
thank you. Glad to be here.
Hope things get better, man.
I do.
It will. It will. It's gonna be rough for a while, but you know how it goes. We journey on.
Yeah, you know, make you stronger, I guess. Right.
Yep. And sorry to bring the show down. So hopefully somebody can pick it up.
Well, wait, no, I'll just jump in here real quick then, because I also have similar bad news.
Jeez
We
almighty.
had a funeral today for my wife's grandmother.
Oh, jeez.
So she was. We'd kind of talked in the past because I only have one grandparent left, and she, until this one, had all of hers, and she even actually has an extra one because one of her grandfathers remarried. So. This was a rough day for us. It's the first time we've been to a funeral with the kids being old enough to kind of understand. My son's 4. He's still he understands, but he doesn't. But my daughter actually, you know, had spent some time with this grandparent and had a bit of a relationship with her and stuff like that. So it was a little rough on her, but overall, I'm very impressed with how she took it. And also with my wife, obviously, she was very close to her. And this being the first close person in her life that has ever died, I was not really sure how she was going to react, and I don't think she even really knew, but got through it pretty well today, all things considered. And this was unlike Derek's situation. This has been I don't want to say it's been expected, but she has been between ICUs and nursing homes since like February. So it was a thing where it was like one body system started failing, then another, and it was just a matter of getting the right people to make the decision to you know, realize that she's gone. But it luckily didn't get to a point where they had to start, you know, pulling plugs or anything like that. She went on her own on, I think it was Monday of this week. So
Can I ask you a question here?
you just did.
know,
Do you want another one?
Can I have another one?
Yes. That was
Oh,
it.
that was the second answer. Darn it.
Yep.
So, and you don't have to answer it if you don't want to, and this can go for you, Derek, as well. But how did you explain it? So you say your daughter kind of understood. How did you put it?
My
to her?
wife did all of the explaining, partially because she's better at that type of stuff,
in
but also
the field. You know?
it was also her grandmother, and also she, because she's at home during the day with the kids while I'm at work, she would take the kids over there to visit those grandparents several times, which is how my daughter got to be as close to her as she was. So it obviously just made sense for her to kind of explain what was going on. And like I said, she had been sick for a while, so even the past few times she took the kids to visit, she had to take them to the hospital or to the nursing home because she was in, you know, pretty bad shape for a while. So it was just really a matter, and you know, you tell them, oh well, Mama's going to go be with Jesus now, and you kind of you think they understand, or you hope they understand. And you know, again, my daughter has a better understanding of what's going on. My son just kind of says, you know, like, oh, I wish Mama wasn't dead, or something like that, which thankfully he doesn't say it, you know, in front of my wife or often or whatever, because that's kind of a harsh way to do it. But again, he's 4. But yeah, it was. She just kind of explained and said, you know, hey, you know, she's been really sick. Well, now she's going to go off to heaven and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
seemed to work out.
With me,
pretty
it
well.
was a little tougher. For my kids, that was Auntie Monica, and she's been to every one of their birthdays since they were born, and she wasn't like sickly. You know, it was kind of unexpected. I mean, she was on medication, but they think it might have been the mixture of like the heat and the medication reacted bad on her because she went to lay down, she wasn't feeling good, and then it happened. So it was kind of unexpected. So I couldn't tell them, oh, she's been suffering, she's in a better place right now, you know, that kind of thing. It's pretty tough to explain to them. I just told them that it was the medication, you know. She had a bad reaction. And,
How old are your boys?
16 and 12.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So they grasped it pretty well, which I'm thankful they weren't really young. But yeah, it's hard to explain this one because we don't even know yet exactly
Right.
what happened. So hopefully they'll find out in the next few days and we'll have a better understanding. But
And I asked that question because I was curious, especially with you, Jerry, because like I don't remember talking about it when my wife's grandmother died just recently either. Because to them it was it was their great grandmother. So, and they were pretty close with her. So, and when we found out in the morning, my daughter, who's the youngest, we kind of she asked what happened, and my wife basically said she went to bed and she woke up in heaven. And then my daughter immediately smiled, and she looked up and she said, "She's with Sammy now." And Sam is my dog that passed away last year. So, she kind of got it. And River just kind of.
Well, that's a good way to explain it. She went to bed and woke up with Jesus. That's pretty good.
Anyway, I was just curious how you broke the news.
Yep. No, that's cool. So on to that then, to bring stuff up, so you guys had to follow that. All that happened like the day after we got back from our vacation, which was our first family vacation. So we'll use that as a stepping stone to get things back up and running there. First family vacation, all four of us together, just the four of us, took a trip down to Myrtle Beach. Had a really nice place. My wife got this. I think it was like a timeshare type situation. We ended up getting it for half price. It was
it was like a house.
Kinda, yeah. Had kitchen, living, had all that stuff. Yeah. We were really looking forward to it on our way down because a few days before we left, we got a call and they said, "Hey, we've upgraded you to one of the corner rooms, so you have one less neighbor and it has an extra balcony and all this stuff." And we're like, "Okay, that's cool." Until we get down there and that the other room, instead of having the two double beds like it was supposed to, has a king in it. So we had two bedrooms and two kings, which, we have two small kids, which ended up being it worked out all right because there was this big divider pillow. So we just had both kids in the same bed, but then kept them separated because they're hooligans and would not, like, my son's all over the place when he sleeps. So it would have kept my daughter from sleeping and all that, but worked out really well. The place was really super nice, and like literally all you had to do when you got there was unpack clothes and go buy groceries, and they have all the plates, dishes, all that stuff.
That's where we usually go to Holden Beach, and rent a house for a week on the beach. So yeah. Awesome stuff.
Really, really nice place. Our days consisted of getting up and swimming in the hotel, because the hotel had well, I say it's a hotel. It was built like a hotel, but it kind of wasn't. But they had two covered pool, a covered hot tub, and then an exposed hot tub and an exposed like lazy river type thing. So we'd go down and do that for the morning until about lunchtime. Then when it got really super hot, we'd come in, have lunch, and kind of hang out a bit. And then in the evenings, we'd go out and play on the beach because, oh man, the beach cleanup with kids, like getting sand out of everything. And oh my goodness. That was just such a hot mess. But I mean, the kids had fun and they loved it, and they got to play in the waves and pick up seashells and all that stuff. So it was really great for that. One thing though, this building we were in had like 20 levels on it, and this is my little mini rant, PSA for those of you with children who may not be that familiar with elevator. Teach your children how to use an elevator, and I mean like general etiquette, as in don't let your kid run in there full speed as soon as the door opens. Explain to them that, one, the elevator might be full already. Two, the elevator might be going up when you're trying to go down. Don't let your kids run out and get caught by the door. Don't let them go in and hit all the buttons. There's just a multitude of things we ran into with people who, I don't know if it was the first time they had been on elevators, and things that, like, I guess even adults didn't even think some of this stuff through, because just no common sense, no respect for personal space, that type of thing. But just don't be an idiot.
There are some things that you can learn by experiment, but you don't want them to do that with an elevator. That's dangerous.
Right. Yeah. So I mean,
the funny thing is that you talk about elevators, and I forgot to. Just recently, I went to the doctor's, and there's an elevator that goes up one floor, and my daughter was in there, and she likes to do this race thing where, I'll go in the elevator and I'll race you up the steps, and I'll go up the steps and beat her up So they go up, and apparently on the inside, my daughter had her hand on the elevator door when it opened, and it kind of went through. And when the elevator kind of goes into the wall, it kind of caught her finger and ripped a little bit of skin off her finger. So yeah, she learned the hard way on that one.
Okay.
It wasn't a bad. It was just a bad. It was
Right.
just a little cut. That's all.
But yeah, I mean,
So,
we did lots of fun stuff down there. We went and took the kids to an aquarium. Found out my son really loves French toast. Like he ate an adult-sized French toast from IHOP and still wanted more. Yeah. Two things on the way back. West Virginia is stupid to drive through. Christian, I'm just letting you know your state is stupid. It takes 27 years because no road goes straight. They wrap every road around every mountain, and they can go through the mountains because there were several times where it actually went under a mountain and you went through like a tunnel. But no, most of them they want you to wrap all around. There's toll booths on the roads because you can't just get out of West Virginia. You have to stop and see and slow down and pay money. And
do you like that Tamarack Plaza?
I don't recall that, but I will say it was interesting that almost every exit had a billboard for porn and was it discount jerky? Like
What
beef
else is there
jerky?
to do in West Virginia?
I don't know.
Did you say there were two different billboards? That sounds like one of the same.
Yeah. No, outlet jerky. That's what it was. So, which I guess
They were one building saying, like Baskin Robbins and Dunkin' Donuts. It was like, get your jerky and get your jerk on.
Yeah, it was the only exit. That's why every billboard had it. But, also, when we left way early in the morning, like 3 a.m. So that way when we got there with all the stops with the kids and everything, it was like mid-afternoon, so it was perfect time to check in and go down and see the beach, all that stuff. When we left, though, we waited until around 5 or 6 in the evening, then we just drove through the middle of the night. Everything was fine. The kids mostly slept. My son had some trouble getting to sleep in the car seat. Understandable. The near problem we had was we got back into Ohio around, 3 o'clock in the morning or so. We're probably about half hour, 45 minutes outside of Columbus, and we need gas. Well, I don't know if a lot of you know this, but gas stations close. A lot of gas stations close. What? Like between the hours of about 2 and 6 a.m., there's a lot of closed gas stations.
Did you take 33?
That was the one way we went back up, right?
Okay.
So we used Google Maps all the way down there. It worked really well. There was a couple times where it literally took us down like dirt road, or not dirt roads, but like country roads, like paved but no lines. Something stung me on the way down there. That was fun. And my wife
Blame
pulled
Google
out,
Maps.
The stinger was about a ½ inch long. She pulled it out. That was fun. But anyway, we took Google Maps all the way down there. It had us kind of like, I don't know what's going on, but it got us there fine and everything like that. On the way back, it brought us back up a completely different way, and apparently this way had no open gas stations on the way back. So we were kind of a little concerned. Google Maps does have a thing where it will tell you where gas stations are, but that's also where we were seeing where they were closed. It would say this one's closed, this one's closed. We found one that didn't say closed. It took us like 10 miles out of our way. We get there, it's closed. We're like, oh man, what are we gonna do? But luckily, we kept going. We had about 15 miles left because her car tells us how much gas is left or how much longer you have till you need it. And then we finally found a place that was open, thankfully. So
on mile 14.
But man, we were kind of sweating, and my wife had been driving because she drove the whole way back, and she was tired, she was stressed, and I'm like, you want me? No, I just want to get gas. I want to get home. It's like, at that point you just don't care. But yeah, so make sure if you are on the road trip that late at night, if it gets to be around 12:01, make sure you fill up or you get somewhere where you're not going to need gas by then.
Yeah, otherwise you'll be stuck in West Virginia.
Yeah, with jerky and porn. The last thing I have, because I know I'm going long this week.
Sounds like a piece of heaven to me.
Before we left Myrtle Beach, we were kind of going around to some of the little souvenir T-shirt shops and all that stuff, and they had a sign out in front of one of them that said "free earring" or "free piercing with purchase of earrings." When my daughter was born, my wife and I had the discussion because she was on the team of get them done when they're young, so that way they don't know and they're just always used to it. And I'm on the team of let them make that decision because maybe they don't want earrings. I mean, 99.9% of little girls do, of course, but I mean, you never know. Maybe you have that 0.01%. So I said, hey, there's a sign, and we had never talked about it since she was born, and So my wife said, Ava, do you want to get your ears pierced? She said, yeah. And we're like, okay, well, now we got to, okay, this is going to hurt. They're going to do this. They're going to, are you sure? Well, we want her to understand. We don't want to make it sound like, balloons and rainbows and butterflies. And all of a sudden she's getting javelin in her ear. And she said, why did you lie to me? Type stuff. But we made sure, and we're like, it's going to feel like a pinch. It's going to feel like when you go to the doctor and get this. Yes. She wants to do it. So we're like, okay. So we're getting up there and we're talking to the guy who's going to do it, and he's like all excited about it. Like, he really loves piercing people, but he's like, oh no, don't worry about it. We don't use the spring-loaded guns anymore. We don't do this. We do this. And he was great. Like, he was pulling out the earrings and showing how they were sterile and how he was, freshly opening this and that. And I don't know what they use these days. So if anyone out there is considering get their kids' ears pierced, they're just like two little things he held between his thumb and his pointer finger, and he just kind of held them up there. He squeezed them, and it was done. She didn't wince. She didn't cry. She said it didn't hurt. We're 5 days? No, we're a week after having them done now. It only hurt a little bit when she was turning them, because you have to wash them and turn them in the shower and all that stuff. It hurt just a little bit that first day, and then ever since like the second day, she's fine. She turns it herself. There's never any pain or anything. So I don't know what ear piercing technology has evolved in the past since, I don't know, when we were younger or when I got mine or whatever, but they have better ways of doing it now. So
yay!
Yep. So my daughter has pierced ears now. That's
woohoo!
And now I am done.
Okay. I think I'm going to go next. Do you mind, Damien? The good storyteller you are?
No, that's fine. I'll go
All right.
last.
Okay. I thought there was more coming after that.
With my depressing tales, but I'm not depressing, so it's fine. I can go last.
Okay, you're
Damien Downer.
So I was going to say mine shouldn't be too much here. I've been kind of ramping up with work. Work has been getting more and more into my doing it at home, so it's kind of bleeding over. But my daughter this past week had more Vacation Bible School, half a day, of course, so she was having a lot of fun with that. And my son had Cub Scout day camp. So I was posting a couple of pictures on Facebook here where he's learning some archery and doing some BB guns and stuff like that, doing stuff out in the woods, just day camp. So it's pretty fun. So he's been learning a lot, and he had a lot of fun with archery. He loves playing with that bow. Learn a little about fishing. I didn't get to go with him, so all I get was pictures from the people that were going with him there. And he actually caught his first bluegill. Right? Yeah, I can hear you guys are excited. Excited. Woo!
I caught many a bluegill in my day.
Yeah, except he threw it back. Good enough, catch and release. And the one thing that I wanted to talk about, things that's happened, nothing with day camp, but it was just this past day. Remember how I was talking about my daughter going crazy at night and how those are getting few and far between now?
Mm-hmm.
So I had this moment where I was 50. I think I'm a horrible person, but at the same time,
You are.
She kind of needed it. So my daughter was having one of these fits where she hit the wall again, and it was nighttime, getting ready for bed. Decided she was going to trash her room, so she just, took everything off her dresser and just throwing things on the ground, and making the room an entire mess. And I was tired. So I just kind of said to heck with it, and I grabbed a trash bag from downstairs, and I just opened it up, and I went into her room, didn't say anything, just opened her room, and just started taking everything off the floor and throwing it in the trash bag. And I ran downstairs. She's following me, screaming behind me, no, no, no. She knows what I'm going to do. I walk outside, and I throw the stuff right in the trash bin. So she's screaming. All her stuff is still flipping out. So I pick her up because she's flipping out, trying to get into the trash can to get her stuff. So I pick her up and I take her back into the house, put her in her room, close the door. Well, then she starts banging on the door with her feet, like really hard. And I'm noticing on the side of the door that the nails are popping out, right? So the nails and the staples that are holding the door jamb together are popping out because she's banging this thing like crazy. And she's going to break the door. And I'm still kind of angry, I'm mad. So I go downstairs. She's doing this, and I haven't said a word to her. I just go downstairs, This is probably where it gets horrible. I grab the hammer because I'm going to go upstairs and fix the door and put the nails back in. So I go back upstairs, and she's still banging on the door. So I have the hammer, and I just bust the door open. I go, whoop! I just open the door, and she sits there, and she sees me, and then she sees the hammer, and then she gets this terrified look on her face. Where and then she starts to cry, and I just look at her, and then I turn to the door and I just start hammering in the nails. And part of me is saying that I'm a horrible person for doing that, but the second part is she needed, because right after that she calmed down. Right after that she calmed down.
Did y'all just finish watching Old Boy together?
No.
I was gonna say if as long as you said here's Johnny.
No, I didn't say anything, but I could tell she was really terrified because the look on her face. She looked, it was terror. She was just on. She looked. It's hard to explain.
Didn't things start to get better with that? Didn't you start giving her?
We do, but sometimes we miss that window, and like I said, these things are getting few and far between. Whether or not she gets food, and whether or not we get her into bed at the right time, and sometimes it's a delicate situation, and most of the times we handle it okay, but sometimes it goes out.
No, I just didn't know if that had like stopped working or if like.
No, it's not that it stopped working. It's just it was just one of those nights.
Right.
It happens less and less, but this one is particularly bad, and I feel like I either did the wrong thing or the right thing, one or the other. I even had to fix the door, but she was scared, and I kind of feel bad for doing that, but I won't tell her that until she's like an adult.
So you probably won't know until the next time she sees you with a hammer, and if she instantly goes to like fetal position and pees her pants, that was probably the wrong thing to do. But
probably the wrong thing to do.
If she's all right, then you're probably all right.
She ain't gonna be a carpenter when she grows up.
And I did, like, after the whole, when she started calming down, sobbing, and I went into her room, and I would lay down beside her, and I said, look, I was not going to hurt you. I was not going to hurt you. Nothing bad was gonna happen. I had to fix the door, which is what you said, which is what she saw me do. So I don't know. It seems a little excessive. It wasn't intended to be, but after the aftermath of it was just like, well, that kind of worked, Did
you come in running with it over your head?
No, I had it. I had it straight up my side, but I kind of had it, and I just opened the door, and I just had it, and I stood in the doorway for like 2 seconds. 2 seconds before doing the nails. I mean, it was just enough.
Did you pour ketchup on it and teach Frank to walk by with a limp?
Did you wind up?
I should have got my son to put ketchup on his head, and he'd just go run. Just
Dad's crazy.
Yeah, that might have been the wrong way.
No, that would have been the wrong
might
way.
have been the opposite way.
Anyway,
she would misbehave again.
Well, no, I bet she will. But anyway,
hammer time.
Hammer time. Boom, doo, 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 doo. Go to bed. All right, yeah, that's all. So I feel weird for doing that, but I also feel like that was kind of it was kind of necessary. Yeah, interesting story for me.
I think you were fine. There's no book on parenting.
There we go. I feel
Things
better
happen. Things
That's
happen.
your validation, Dan.
That's my validation. That's what that's what I wanted to say. Validation. I'm still a good person.
Yep.
All right, Damien, would you run in your kid's room with a gun or something? What'd you do?
I usually just fire holes through the door.
Stand back!
I don't give a warning. Pull your socks up, Abby.
Why do they call him the bullet dodger?
You say, police officer, open up.
So 2 weeks ago, we went to City Park because in New Orleans they had a special Pokemon Go event, and my kids like Pokemon Go. So we go there, and they got a choo-choo
You're
train.
not getting out of this chair.
What?
I was telling Jeremy he's not getting away from this.
Nope. So they got a choo-choo train that rides around City Park, and they're going to stop it twice and let you get out for 30 minutes, and they've set lure traps, and they're going to let you hunt for Pokemon and stuff. So we're like, okay, let's take the kids. They're all into this. So we go, and my wife's like, you want to get tickets for us on the train? I'm like, nah, they're good. They can go ride the train or whatever. So she's like, okay. So we get in line, and we got to wait for the train. It's like 15 minutes. So my kids are off. They're catching Pokemon. So I'm like, Natalie, how you play this stupid game? She's like, you got it on your phone? I'm like, yeah, I downloaded it. I'm like, I don't get it. She's like, okay. So my kids run me through their tutorial of how to catch Pokemon. And next thing I know, I'm running all over City Park, like trying to catch Pokemon. And I'm like going over to my kids and I'm all like, hey, there's a cat thing over here. And they're like, oh, that's a whatever, Meowth or whatever Pokemon is. I still don't know the names.
Well, you got that one right.
Right. Well, I don't know any of the other ones. Like, I'm like, look, there's a pig thing over here and there's a horse thing over here. And they're all like, I already got that. So then my wife's like, you want me to go buy us tickets for the train? I'm like, yeah, go get us tickets for the train. So then my wife goes and runs and gets tickets to the train. And we caught the first one, which was great because they were filming a movie and the people were not happy about us getting off at the train stop right in the middle of them filming, which I looked it up. It looks like this movie called Supercon or whatever. It was weird looking movie, bunch of little kids, one dude dressed up in leather pants and golden shoes, and they're all jumping around and fighting, and we're just kind of looking at them and catching
those were just
Pokemon.
other people playing.
It might have been. That's what it looked like. It looked like some role players, you know. So we get to our next stop, and we're out. And my daughter's like, "Which way you going, Dad?" I'm like, "I'm walking this way." She's like, "Okay, well, I'm going with you." So I'm like, "Okay." So both my kids stick with me. All of a sudden, we hear kids screaming. Ah! So we turn and look, like, what's going on? And you just see like this wall of rain coming towards us. so I'm like, run back to the train. So we just start sprinting back to the train. Everybody else is sprinting. The conductor and all is yelling, everybody get on board. And we haul butt to the maintenance shed on this train. And then we just sit there for like 15 minutes while it storms outside. And then we finally leave, go back. They give you a free Pokemon snowball. It was pretty cool. They do half red and half like wedding cake white and then put a strip of chocolate across the middle so it looks like a Pokeball. And you get all that included with your train ticket for $6. So it was a good deal. My kids had fun. They caught some new Pokemon. I got addicted to it. We leave there and we're like in downtown New Orleans and there's all kind of Pokestops everywhere. My kids are just like, can we just drive around for like 20 minutes in the city and get all these Pokestops? So I'm like, okay. So I just make a couple of blocks in New Orleans and my kids are like happy as can be to be able to catch some Pokemon and do Pokestops in the city. So yeah, I don't go out of my way to play, but you get eggs and you have to hatch them by walking.
Yeah.
So I figured out that I could turn my phone on when I go on my runs in the morning and like touch the screen after every song. So after every song, I'm just like, okay, touch my phone. That way it stays on and get credit for, my runs to hatch all my eggs. So I've hatched all my eggs now. But if my kids and I go anywhere, I'll play it with them, but I don't go out of my way to play. So last weekend we went to the Audubon Zoo and we went to the aquarium in New Orleans and we walked around and, we looked at the fish, we looked at the animals and we caught some Pokemon. And it's pretty fun. It's definitely a good relation with your kids. If they're interested in it, it's easy for you to pick up and play it and do something with them. Not to mention, like so many people said, how it gets them out of the house. I mean, my kids, they want to leave the house. They're always like, Dad, will you go walk the street with us? And I'm sure, let's go walk the street. And so we go walking for them to catch Pokemon. So it gets them out of the house. It gets them doing stuff. And I think that's really good, for them. The other thing,
your description of it in the show notes leaves a completely different perception of what you just went through.
Oh, no. That was from who was that? Is it Everyday Gamers or 40cast that say that? And they mean as in all these people who are downing Pokemon Go. Like, I'm so sick of Pokemon. Like they're the old men on the lawn, pretty much like you and Jeremy. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to do nothing with it. So Pokemon Go, duck yourself. That's what you can do. So my son finished driving school. Now they tell us if they don't pass the test, we're gonna notify you, email or phone call or text message or something. So we don't get any phone call. My son is set to drive 2 weeks from then. So I go, and my wife's like, look, just stick around and find out if the guy's bringing him home or if you're going to have to go back and pick him up or what the deal is. I'm like, no problem. So I go and I hang out, and the guy's like, oh, hey, you're Tristan's dad? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, come to my office. I'm like, okay. So I'm thinking, this guy thinks I'm just hanging around to talk. He's like, so Tristan failed his test. I'm like, no. Like, you got him mixed up with some other kid. Like, I'm not even. I was like, you're lucky I didn't just drop my kid off and leave. I mean, you know, you didn't tell me anything about this. Like, you got him confused with somebody else. I only stuck around to find out where y'all were driving and if you were going to bring him home or if I needed to come pick him back up. And he's like, no. He didn't pass. He's like, I got his test. I'm like, okay, go get his test. Because I'm not buying it. And he goes, gets his test, and he failed by one question. He missed one question too many.
So is this the written test to get his permit or the actual?
Yes, to get his permit.
Okay.
Now you take it at the driving school, and then what they do is after you do your week of driving, he puts all the certification and the past test and all in an envelope that has to stay sealed, and you take that to the DMV, and they open it, and then they give you your permit. Because you've already done everything. So basically, the DMV doesn't do anything now. It's all with this driving school. So I'm like, so he can see I'm kind of aggravated because I'm like, dude, you're lucky I even stuck around. I'm like, what kind of operation are you running? And he's all, oh, I know. I'm sorry. I'm like, you don't tell me or nothing. I'm like, you lucky I stuck around. Like, what would you have done if I would have left? He's like, well, I would have called you. I was like, I'd have been more pissed if I had to drive back here to talk to you. I'm like, this is not how you do things. Oh, I understand. So he's all like, I'm in my full get up for work and everything. And he's like, I respect you. You're a cop and everything like that. And, if you tell me your son's mature and he can just drive, then I'll put him in a car and he can drive. And I'm like, no, I don't. Yeah, I'm like, I don't want any special treatment. I don't expect that. I'm like, no. I'm like, what's the normal protocol? And he's like, well, normally, I make him go back through the class again and sit through everything. I'm like, fine. That's what needs to happen. So he's like, okay. He's like, this is the next class, and this is when he needs to go. And he told me basically, he's like, I don't think he was ready. He's ready to drive. He seems a little bit more interested in the video game in there than he is about paying attention in class. I'm like, yeah, that's my son. He's definitely more interested in the video game than he is about learning. So I understand that. But so I think it's good that he needs to go through again. Like he needs to, I told him, I was like, you need to realize there's repercussions for your actions. And this is part of it. This is part of growing up. This is part of learning. And
do you have to pay for all that again, or?
No. Okay. The guy was like, I'm not going to charge you anything. I was like, yeah. Which I don't think he charges anyway, but right. They do have to bring like money for lunch and stuff. And he's like, you don't have to pay for lunch either. Like I'm going to pay for that. I'm like, whatever, man. Right. I'm just. Because my thing is just, I was like, this is how you run your business? Like, this is unprofessional, So,
right. When I was in driving school, I pretty much was just driving this guy around to go through, to do his errands. And I was driving his car. And, like, in the middle of it, he's like, oh, pull into my house here. So we pull into his house. And I'm sitting there, and he's like, just stay here. I'll be back. Dude goes into his house, makes his lunch, makes a sandwich, and gets some drink, comes out on the back porch where I could see him. I'm still in his car watching him. And he's just out on his back porch. He's just eating his lunch. He's just eating his lunch, drinking whatever he's drinking. And he finally ges finished. Comes back in the car. He's like, it's like half an hour I've been sitting in that car. And he comes back in his car. He's like, okay, let's drive back. I'm like, what the heck?
Hey,
that's 30 minutes of driving time for you.
When I took my driver's training test, my driving instructor was like 350 pounds, right? And she's like, I'm really hungry. And I was a cook at a restaurant.
Oh, so, I thought you were going to say, when aren't you?
So, I'm being good, man. I want to pass. So I drove the car up to the restaurant, and I ran in the back door, and I told my best friend who was cooking, I'm like, dude, make me the baddest, awesomest cheeseburger you've ever made in your life. He makes me this awesome cheeseburger. I bring it out to her. She's eating it while I'm driving back, and she's licking her lips, and she's like, "Man, that burger was so delicious." She goes, "You pass." I'm like, well, I don't even know if I drove good or not, but I bribed my way through it.
I thought that was gonna backfire on you, dude. I thought she was gonna say that was the best burger I ever had. You're never passing.
Now drive me there and give me
Every
another.
week I get this burger for lunch.
I failed my first maneuverability test.
What?
Yep, I failed the first one. It was downpour rain. Downpour. I mean, completely downpour. I was doing this in this Ford Tempo, and the rear window defogger didn't work. So the rear window was fogged up. Like I said, it was pouring down rain, so I had to do this thing with the windows open. And when I went through fine, and when I was coming out, I hit the last cone behind with the edge of the mirror. And as soon as it touched it, the guy just said, "Stop, you failed."
Oh.
And I was like, wow.
So
Dang it. So I had to wait 2 weeks to do it again.
you weren't a lucky one, Anderson. The
No,
cup
but it was
empty.
right. But it was pouring down rain. I felt I did pretty good for what it was, but
Yeah,
But,
that
you know,
little
apparently
3-year-old baby you just hit with your mirror. Don't think
Yeah. You don't care about your rear defrost.
they don't care about the rear I couldn't see out the back window. It was pouring down rain. I had to do it with the windows open.
Sorry, officer. I know I hit that guy in the wheelchair, but the rear defroster doesn't work, and it's pouring rain.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah,
get it.
you can
It
go
was-
free, son. That's all right. Go ahead and murder a couple more school children on your way out.
Dan's walking around. I wish my dad was a cop. Got me out of it. Cop
or
or a cook.
cook.
Oh,
Make a burger.
My son was not happy because he was sitting in there the whole time, and he was all like, "I don't know why you couldn't just let me take the test again." Or,
Oh,
or
jeez. I would hope your son would know you better enough to know that you weren't going to let him slide.
Like,
on
boy,
anything
the
like
fact that you even said that makes me want to send you
Yeah.
right through it again.
Oh
Cool.
yeah. And so then the last thing is my daughter had to go back to the neurologist for an EEG. And for that, we have to keep her up all night, basically. Well, I say all night, but she gets 4 to 5 hours of sleep. Okay. So my wife and I are all right, we're gonna stay up with her and do this. And I'm like, I'm gonna take off of work because I'm gonna drive. I've been sleep deprived. There's no problem. I can drive. Sleep deprived. I don't want you doing something like that. I was like, if you need to go to bed, you go to bed. I'll stay awake with her. And she's like, no, I'm gonna stay awake with her too. So I'm like, okay. So my wife and daughter, they come get me. They're like, hey, we're gonna play categories. So I'm like, okay. It's around 9 o'clock, right? Still early. So okay. So we start playing categories. My son comes in. He's like, can I play too? Like, sure. So he starts playing with us. Okay, everything's going good. Then we move into the kitchen and we change to life. Well, now we're pushing around 10:30, 11 o'clock or so, and this is way past the USO staying up time. All right. I'm seeing everybody get so agitated at each other. Just every little thing. We're not even like out of college yet. We're all going through college. We're not even out of that yet. My daughter's already like, what game are we playing next? I was like, I don't know. Look, just play the game, okay? My son's like, how much do I get if I go to college? Look, you get how much you get. Don't worry about it. Just play the game. You're already in college. You're already spending the money.
You spend money in college. That's how it works.
Yeah, you're already going through. You can't go back. Just go. So I'm looking at it, and my kids are saying stuff, and it's aggravating me too, but I acknowledge it. I recognize it. It's like I'm tired, so every little thing that they're doing is aggravating me, which in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, is this how it's going to be with this whole Child's Play 24-hour thing? Like, am I gonna be down Jeremy and Dan's throats because I'm so sleep deprived? Like, at least I recognize it. I acknowledge it. I know what's happening. So I wasn't jumping down their throat, but in the back of my mind, I'm just like, shut up! Just shut up!
No, you're just gonna shoot holes through the door.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll
Pull your
have to
socks
keep a
up,
hammer
Abby.
by for you.
So around
your socks up,
11:15 or
Abby.
so, we finished playing board games. My daughter's like, I want to play Minecraft. So we're like, okay, whatever you want, just go. So she starts playing Minecraft, and she's all like, look at this, Dad, look at this. And I'm like, okay, she's good. I'm like, what's the hours we decided on? And so we were going to sleep 1 to 5. But then my wife breaks the bombshell that we can do 5 hours. So I'm like, yeah, let's do 5 hours. Like, we're gonna do midnight to 5 in the morning. I'm like, I'm used to getting up at 5 in the morning anyway. That's fine. So my daughter's all playing Minecraft and it's like 11:30. So I'm like, Natalie, you're up? She's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm like, okay, let's go to bed. And my wife's like, we're just gonna leave her. I'm like, yeah, I'll leave her a notepad and a pen. I'm like, write down what time you go to bed. I'm getting up at 5 in the morning to go run. So I'll check the pad. I was like, by the time but we get up at 5, even if she goes to sleep right now, it's fine. You know, I already said 11:45 we were gonna call it because it takes you like 15 minutes to fall asleep. So I'm like, okay, I'm like, baby girl, you just write down what time you go to bed and that's what time we'll get you up. So she's like, okay. So me and my wife go to bed, wake up. I wake up at 5 in the morning. I come out to the living room. I look at the notepad.
Blank.
And no. She did good. It says 11:45. So I'm not thinking. I go back to the bedroom. I'm like, hey, you can go back to sleep for another hour. She didn't go to bed till 11:45. And my wife's like, no, that's what time we went to bed. I was like, oh yeah. Okay, you got to get up. Like, you got to go wake her up. She's like, okay. So I take off on my run. I come back. I'm like, how's it going? She's like, terrible. She keeps wanting to go back to sleep. I'm like, all right, here we go. So I jump in the shower, take my shower. My daughter's all complaining that she's tired. I'm like, hey, let's go play Pokemon Go. You want to walk up to the front of the street? We got a fire station at the front of our street, and it's a Pokestop. I'm like, you want to go walk to the front of the street? She's like, yeah. So, like, okay, get dressed. So I get her dressed, take her walking up to the front of the street. We walk from the front of the street to the back of the street. You know, we spend an hour walking up and down our street catching Pokemon. So I'm thinking, oh, she's good now. So we get dressed. My wife's like, let's go eat before we go to the doctor's office. I'm like, okay, we can do that. So take my shower, head out. I'm thinking she should be good at this point, right? I mean, it's like 10 o'clock now and almost middle of the day, and we've been walking and getting her adrenaline pumped up. No, that girl is in the back seat trying to lay down, trying to go to sleep. I'm like, come on, Natalie, you can't be tired. I'm so tired. She's like complaining the whole time. It was more of a fight to keep her awake from 11 to the appointment was for 1:30. So like from 11 to 1:30, it was harder to keep her awake than it was last night. I mean, she was just so ready for bed. And then, we finally got in there. They finally hooked up the EEG and everything. And I mean, that girl went right to bed in no time flat. So that was good. She didn't have any seizures, which one of her triggers is being sleep deprived and heavy physical activity. So she didn't have any, but the doctor still changed her medicine because the medicine he put her on that was new was making her drowsy, which did not help with keeping her awake, but no doubt helped with her sleeping 5 hours and still able to go right back to sleep just, 4 hours later. So she's on that, and we got to see how she does. She goes back in a month, but he seemed really pleased that she wasn't having any from the EEG and when she was under that sleep deprived and everything, because I guess last time and they did it, she did have some seizures. So he seemed really pleased with her progress and everything. So I'm guessing that's good. I don't know. I'm not the doctor. I don't know what to look for. I just know that he seemed pretty happy with her results. So I take that as a good sign.
Cool. Absolutely.
And then on the last thing on that note with staying awake and child's play, as you guys know, I bought my plane ticket today. So I'm all set to fly to Ohio October 28th and stay to the 31st and then get out of there so y'all can still have Halloween with your kiddos and stuff.
Right. So I think we're going to probably the 29th, which is a Saturday, is when we'll probably go out. We'll go back out to the Tilted Kilt. And
is that what you're thinking?
That's what I'm thinking, based on timelines and all that stuff. And we'll figure out the Extra Life stuff kind of around that. But it'll be easy. Damien gets in late on a Friday, and nobody wants to go out on a Sunday to something like that. So we'll try for Saturday the 29th. We don't know about time yet. We'll figure out something and let that know. But
is there a UFC that day?
I don't know. There might be. I know Devious Mr. Matt was wanting to come down next time if he had time, so he wanted to know the date. So there you go, Matt. October 29th. We'll figure out times and all that stuff
Yeah,
later.
come on down, Puddles. Just don't ride your motorcycle.
Oh, we have something for that later. Too soon. So let's go ahead and you have anything else there, Damien? There's nothing here on your list. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and move on to ESR Beware for the week.
Worst segue ever.
Well, someone has to do it. I think we're going to just split this up into 4 parts because there's 4 paragraphs. It's kind of a long one here.
This is a long one, man.
Yeah, and this is an older game, and we just ran out of time and ideas. So we're picking Mafia 2. We'll say it's because the 3rd one's coming out. How's that?
Sure.
This came out on Windows PC, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360. It is rated M for mature, as you might have guessed, since it is a Mafia-based game.
Mafia game.
What are we doing? Gangster voices here?
Yeah, do you want to split everybody do it in one paragraph each?
Sure. 4 paragraphs, 4 people.
This is going to be a long one. Try to stay with us, people.
Or not. That's, you can probably skip ahead 5 minutes and
you're probably 5 minutes. You'd be all right with that. So who wants to go first? I'll go first.
Okay.
This is an open world game, see? An action game in which players assume the role of Vito Scaletta. An ex-convict and World War II veteran who becomes involved in a crime family. The game depicts the 1940s and 50s urban landscape. I'm overdoing it. which includes a criminal underworld that the protagonist must navigate through in order to progress, you see. Players complete various missions that either advance the main storyline or award the player with in-game currency and connections. Next one. Boom.
You got to tag somebody.
The missions,
Many
of the missions require players to engage in criminal activity, such as stealing cars, robbing gas stations, running drugs, or killing gang members. Players use
it's a Pacino.
pistols,
I got you.
Bang!
Tommy guns.
No, that didn't sound right.
And all I have in this world are my shotguns and knives.
Boom!
To kill enemies and occasionally civilians.
Oh, not me!
Blood often spurts out of injured characters, stains the walls, ground, and occasionally sprays onto the screen.
Get it off me!
Help me.
So real.
Some cutscenes depict more intense instances of violence, including close range execution, stabbing, slit. Within the free roaming context, players have the ability to attack police officers.
What is happening?
Streets. In bars, shops,
What the heck are you
etc.
saying?
However, these acts are not directly rewarded, preventing players from maintaining a low profile from the police.
He started off as Al Pacino in Scent of a Woman and ended up as Major Payne somehow.
I don't know what he ended up, but it's hilarious.
It works.
Yep, go for it. Derek,
Derek,
whatever
add it
you
up.
can muster. Go ahead.
During the course of the game, players can encounter some sexual suggestive materials.
Hi.
Brothels with prostitutes and revealing lingerie.
Come here, little boy with the money.
A gentleman's club with female dancers.
More money.
And Playboy magazine pinups hidden in certain areas.
All right.
There is also a gallery accessible from the main menu where players can view and collect their pinups.
You need to go back and read those parentheses.
Topless images of bare buttocks.
Yeah.
The butt talks.
One cutscene briefly depicts the top of a woman's head as she performs fellatio on a man.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
37.
The camera cuts away to the other patrons at the table. The man's reactions.
Oh yeah.
Oh face. Oh.
Ow.
Oh.
Ow. The girl in logistics.
Alcohol and drug use are also depicted in the game. Players' characters can order alcohol at a bar and drink until his vision becomes blurry, like the day of my daughter's wedding. Players are able to drive their cars this impaired state.
Crash!
Characters are also depicted buying and selling drugs in a cutscene montage.
What you need? I got it.
Although the protagonist is never depicted using drugs, a few ancillary characters sometimes can be seen smoking marijuana or sampling cocaine. Language such as F star star K, SH star T, and N star star G ER can be heard in the dialogue.
Careful there.
Wow. This is a line of coke there.
Oh, that was something. Let's never do this one again.
No, let's no. No more Mafia. Anytime you see Mafia, it's
Mafia
no.
3's coming up.
That's true.
No.
We will have to do the third one.
Watch it. It'd probably be exact same thing as this one.
Yeah, it might be.
I was gonna go for some Sylvester Stallone action, but it didn't work.
It's probably better than what the rest of it was, so you're fine. So on to game stuff, which always follows ESR Beware. I'll go real quick because I have very little. Since we were on vacation, we didn't, clearly I didn't have all the gaming stuff. I took my tablet with me and did a whole bunch of Final Fantasy Brave Exvius type stuff.
Yeah, you jerk.
I won't go into a whole lot of that because it's a mobile game. We talked about it last time, so I did a lot of that stuff. I also took my Vita because I wanted to try that Oreshika. Yeah.
Oreshiki.
That free game we got with PS Plus.
Poop.
Yeah, it was kind of poop. It was like
I couldn't even get past the intro.
yeah,
man.
it was
just like
it was way too many genres combined into one. It's like they wanted it to be a strategy game, they wanted it to be a JRPG, they wanted it to be a dating sim thing. There's some weird premise where you're cursed and like your generations your bloodline only lasts 2 years, except for whenever they start off, they're automatically like age 20 something, but then they die after 2 years and they have to spend a month in a cave or something to like that's how you grind and fight, and then when they come out there's only certain months of the year they
spent a lot more time.
I know.
with it
I'm like
than
I really have to figure this out, but it was just way too much, and even with the streamline mode that they suggested that you play through, it's like this is just way too much. I don't want to get into all this. So on that one.
Yep.
And then I also mentioned last time I started Final Fantasy 13. I played a lot more of that this week. I'm still not at a point where it actually opens up. I can tell you every cutscene begins with depending on what character, I can tell you what's going to happen. If Hope's in it, he's going to be going and like he bent over. If Zaz, the black guy, is in it, he's going to be playing the Roger Murtaugh. I'm too old for this, man. I'm too old for this. If Lightning's in it, she's going to be all emo, like I'm just doing my duty. If Snow's in it, he's going to be all, yeah, I'm the hero. It's just this. I'm finding
it's typical Final Fantasy, man. I'm surprised you haven't gotten this down by now.
Not in this way. And like the story's getting a little better, but yeah, it's still kind of dragging on. But I'm gonna stick with it for now.
Yes, to answer your question in the text though, Hope is that way the entire time. I shared that on just that little quote that you had on Discord with everybody else.
There's not a lot of times like, Vanille was like, yeah, let's go. There's always one of those characters in Final Fantasy, so I get that, but man, that one character Hope is just really getting on my
I couldn't stand Hope.
With him, but that's all I had, so you guys can continue on.
What have you been playing, Derek?
Well, this week I was what little bit I played due to unfortunate circumstances was all on Xbox One. I couldn't get any PS4 time in. My son is literally addicted to Overwatch, and he gives me that puppy dog look every time I try to get him to let me borrow the PS4. So I got some Zombie Army Trilogy co-op in with Maniac 17 from Gamers in Beta. We had some fun on that. Did a couple levels. It was good. Always got time for Call of Duty and Battlefield. I got some Battlefield in. I think I got me a dozen dog tags.
Damien likes
now you're
those.
talking Damien's language.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's how I got my name my gamer tag was from knifing people, so
Nice.
that's my thing. And I did a little bit of Rocket League, and that was pretty much what I've been playing.
Cool.
I've got gaming ADD.
Mhm.
I'm all over the place with it. So last time I think I said I picked up Mirror of Fate, Castlevania on the PC. Cleared it. Dug that one a lot. So the story between Castlevania Lords of Shadow and then Lords of Shadow 2, this one shows, I don't want to say, but it shows the link between the Belmont clan and Dracula and Alucard
Vampires!
and all that stuff. What?
The vampire.
Vampires! And whips and stuff. I thought it was a pretty good game. It's no Symphony of the Night, but it's definitely a short game. You can play it through it. I mean, there's an achievement for it for playing through it in 3.5 hours, which I'm not going to go back and do. But I liked it. I thought it was well done. Interesting story. I liked it. Anyway, the other one is I've been playing Darius Burst Chronicle Savior, which is I love my shmups, so I gotta play that one. However, this one's a little weird because in the arcade, it uses 3 monitors. So if you play this game on a regular like screen TV, it letterboxes it. It letterboxes it on a widescreen TV, and it's weird to play for a while because it's a horizontal shooter, and you've got a lot of screen to go through if you want to travel from one end of the screen to another, especially shooting all this stuff. It's a lot of fun. I would recommend it if you're a fan of the shmups. Then I was able to pick up, for about half the cost, a Retro Freak. And I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's a console. I guess you can call it a console. It's an emulation console, really. And it has cartridge ports for Super Nintendo, Famicom, basically 11 systems. So you can do Sega Genesis, Mega Drive, TurboGrafx 16s, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Game Boy, Famicom, Super Nintendo, Super Famicom, all that good stuff, and you can plug them in and it'll play it. But it also has a nice little thing that you can do, get in a little micro SD card and load it up with a ton of ROMs and plug it in the back, and you can just play it on the screen. And that's mainly what I got it for, is I loaded ROMs up. And it's got a nice HDMI output, and the emulator on it is actually really good. And since it's from Japan, you would think it's all in Japanese. Now the menus are in English. You can put it in there. So it was a really good buy for half the price from what it is listed on Play Asia's website. But anyway, I was playing Castlevanias on the Genesis for that, and I'm having a lot of fun with that. It'll use PS4 controller too if you just connect it up with the USB controller or USB card, and it'll be just fine. Highly recommend those if you really want to play games and don't want to have to go through configuring emulators and stuff on the PC, which if you're playing retro games anyway, you're probably already doing that anyway. But this is if you want to sit it on the couch. Yeah, okay, so then the last two was Battle Block Theater that I yoinked from Jeremy's Steam library for a while until he fired up Final Fantasy, and then it kicked me off. Battle Block Theater is really fun. I did not expect it to be as funny as it is. I kind of thought it was just going to be like Castle Crashers, not really a lot of dialogue kind of thing. It was just all that stuff, but it's got a lot of a narrator on it that's really, really, really funny to listen to. And he's just like, oh, and then the whale came and he was all weird and stuff, and then the storm just kept on going and going. I thought that was really fun. And like gaming ADD, I picked up Assault Android Cactus because it was on sale on a flash sale on PSN. And another twin stick shooter, however, I think they dropped the ball. There's no online co-op with that. It's you can have that seems to be a theme with some of the indie games that going on, and I'm not sure I like it because it's like, oh, you have couch co-op, and I'm like, yeah, but nobody freaking comes over to my house anymore. So if you don't have online, that's a missed opportunity there, a really big one, and it'd probably get you a lot more sales than what it is. But this one doesn't, and I'm like, the only way I could play with somebody online is if I share play and give the person the other controller. But that's not really going to do much for the other person. Right. I mean, I mean, it won't give them any achievements, but if they want to try it, that's cool. But anyway, yeah, I've been all over the place with that. So, Brave Exvius, sure. I'm not gonna, Jeremy and I are playing that too. All right, there's my big diarrhea of the mouth gaming list right there.
Damien,
Alright.
you're next.
All right, I played Pokemon Go, of course. I fired up Borderlands because I bought the Handsome Jack collection, so I started playing the prequel. It's all right. It's more Borderlands. I like the whole jumping, the way you're on the moon, so gravity is less, and then you can smash down onto people. So it kind of adds a little bit of a new element to the game, but not crazy enough. It was just nice to play because I wanted to change to first-person shooter, so it's a fun game for that.
What do you think about the oxygen thing? Because it's to me, it seemed like there was no point in it because it never really got to a point where you're like, oh, I'm gonna die because I don't have oxygen. But it was also something that you still kind of had to. It was like more of an annoyance to keep it at a right level, not so much that it was like making you do things faster or keeping you from doing anything. It was just kind of there to bug you.
Yeah, I get that. It's not really a big deal to me because, like you said, I've hardly run out of oxygen. There was only one time when I was trying to get this stupid journal, and it was like far away, and I had to figure out how to do the jump, and I just kept trying, and then my oxygen would get low, and it's like, okay, let me run back and get more oxygen, and come back and try it again. And of course, as you level up, you can increase how much oxygen you can hold and stuff. So I don't know. I don't think I've played it enough to where it's become that bad. Like I said, I like the whole aspect of being able to float and smash down into the ground to do different little combo moves. And of course, doing that though takes up more of your oxygen, so it kind of adds like a different level of strategy to it. But it was all right. But I didn't play a ton of it.
Right.
I still played Saints Row 4, loving that, but I want to take a break. Maybe I got ADD like Dan and just switching things up. I've been playing Battlefield 4 every now and then, but nobody's online from my friends list playing when I play. So, well, you're on Xbox too.
Yeah.
I'm on PlayStation 4, but when I do play, I've been having fun. I completed some more assignments for recon and been sniping people, having a blast with that. So it's still so much fun, and I just can't wait for Battlefield 1. But that's been a nice little throwback, going back to that game to play. And then the last one I fired up here recently was Shadow of Mordor. Again, looking for something different, and I'm like, well,
Christian would give you the biggest hug right
oh
now.
yeah, I know he would, because I fired it up, and I'm kind of debating in the back of my mind. I'm like, okay, I know I have this game, and I beat it, and I got all the achievements for just the regular game, no DLC, and then I traded it in. So do I want to erase my save and go back, or do I want to just keep my save and try to refresh how to play this game? Well, luckily, PlayStation or whatever, the creators of Shadow of Mordor, treat the Game of the Year edition as a whole different game. So I don't have any save files for it, which worked out for me because it made the dilemma go away. So I was like, great. So I'll just start this from the beginning. And what a blast I'm having. Now I know why Christian played through that game, 3, 4, 6 times, whatever, however many systems he's got it on, not to mention Game of the Year and regular edition and all that. I mean, the story is great. I'm laughing. I definitely needed the tutorials because I forgot how to play this game. So they're teaching me how to play again, which is really needed. And I forgot the complexity behind it. And then I'm having fun just running around. I'm doing like all these side missions. Like I don't even care about the main mission. They're like, look, you really need to do the main mission so you can unlock like new abilities. I'm like, no. I can still finish these side missions. I'm good. So I just keep running around doing the side missions, killing the hunting challenges and the collecting the herbs, which I remember I had forgotten about the first time, or I didn't know about because they don't do any tutorial on that. It's just one of those things that's there. So I know about those this time, so I'm completing those challenges. But yeah, what a great game. I mean, I'm playing that game every chance I get right now. I mean, I'm having a blast, and obviously that's why it was, it deserves a Game of the Year because that is just a fantastic game.
Cool.
That's it.
All right, well, let's head on over to the new popular segment, the Metacritical.
Yeah.
We're gonna do another movie this week. Captain Mike, I have to let you know, you requested Insides like a month ago. That only has like 4 negative reviews. One has a spoiler, one's in Spanish, and then the other 2 are just like 3s and 4s, so they're not really that negative. So we're gonna have to get some more hate for Insides for you, buddy, before we can do that one. But we did do Ghostbusters, the new re-release or reimagining, whatever you want to call it. Came out a couple weeks ago, right before we recorded this last episode. So I'll start things off. I didn't like it. I can tell you that much.
You liked
it?
it?
I didn't like it.
Oh, you didn't
apparently.
like it.
So I sat through it last night because my wife wanted to. We're filming just how awful this is. It is literally pixels with women. People. I have to expand this one. Okay. People keep praising Hemsworth and McKinnon. I have no idea why. Thorboy plays a moron. A complete and utter moron. If that's your thing, to go watch some old Mel Brooks movies and go look for Terry Garr. That's Hemsworth in this. Shallow and stupid. And McKinnon, she's like a random clown thrown in to distract you from realizing just how awful and soulless this mess is. Look, jangly keys. She is completely, insanely random. She would work better in a Monty Python sketch. It's like she is channeling all 3 Stooges in one body, and at their most annoying, I suspect they accidentally gave her an old script for the Tank Girl, and nobody bothered to correct it. But at least she has and is a character, which cannot be said of the rest of the cast. I can't believe any critic with ethics or a soul is giving this dumpster fire of a movie a mid to high grade. Just save your money. Take your family to see the Pets movie. Again, if needed. Don't subject your poor daughters to this mess in order to empower them. They deserve better.
Wow.
That guy doesn't sound like he has a wife or daughters at all.
I was going to say, he probably no. Well, the guy you made him out to be doesn't sound like it.
Damien, you loved it. Tell me about
Absolutely. 5 stars. Rated a 9.
I wouldn't point out. Yeah, he just said 5 stars, but I wanted to point out that he gave it a 9 out of 10, even though he gave it all 5 stars.
Right.
Go ahead.
Because that's a different scale, butthead. So I would give it 4.5 stars. There's no bigger fan than I regarding the original 2 Ghostbuster movies. That said, the new movie is an absolute compliment to the originals. I had hopes for it to be good, but went in skeptical. I was very entertained and fell deep into the movie. I loved the characters, and the special effects were great. I will see it again, and buy a copy when available. Don't listen to the bad reviews like that knucklehead that went before me.
Shut up.
Go in and enjoy the fact that it's a fun movie in the middle of a lot of terror in our present-day lives.
Oh, it's a good escape.
Oh, God, here we go. That's
Dan,
right.
you didn't like it either. Tell me why.
I enjoyed the new Independence Day movie.
Oh, scathing.
Yeah, this movie is that bad. Imagine if you tried kids' humor, but the humor that kids would not find funny because... What the fuck am I reading?
You're reading it right.
I'm reading it right. It doesn't make sense coming out of my mouth. But the humor that kids would not find funny because they don't understand it. Low jokes and shooting people in the... I'm going to have to bleep all this. Thanks. Low jokes.
Here's our show title.
Here we go. Wait. Let me just stop this right here. Everybody be quiet. Low jokes.
There's
all
our
right.
Easter egg.
And shooting people in the... But adults won't find it funny because they're not children. Honestly, take your kid... I feel like I'm channeling Kratos. Take your kids to see The Secret Life of Pets instead. Hey,
yeah, see?
You and I must have seen this movie together. God, I wish I did.
All right, Derek, you have 2. I put them in the Skype chat there. You have 2 because they're short.
You loved it.
Yes, you did love it. Tell us why.
Loved it.
The ghosts were actually scary. The comedy was hilarious.
Oh,
and the
yeah.
busting action was great.
Busting action.
Don't listen
Keep
to the
busting.
haters.
Haters.
I love this one way more than the original.
What?
A brilliant successor. More worthy of the moniker. More almost everything else it shares it with. And this movie is hilarious.
Wait, that was your cut. That was the end of the
Oh.
first one. So this is your second one.
Oh, okay.
I thought it sounded
think of a
good
new
the
voice,
way
Yeah,
you
buddy.
so
said it.
well, no, yeah, I know. This is somebody completely different. So
This movie is hilarious. I found the character Arch of Slimer to be moving. All the haters just need to lighten up already and enjoy the ride.
A character arch for Slime.
And yes, it's better than the original.
oh,
Man.
Both of Derek's
That's why you
reviews must have
like,
been
that's why you
written by like a 12 to 15-year-old.
no, because they didn't get the
Yeah.
humor.
But
Well,
nobody
apparently
gets
the apparently the
nobody gets the humor
apparently
according
the
to the old ones. But like better than the original. I mean,
gosh, it's got a Slimer character arch. I mean, we get to find out the backstory of Slimer.
he's
I
deep.
mean,
Origins.
character.
He's
I
deep.
mean, wow.
No, I put those
I mean,
together.
I mean, he
because-
drinks wine and it comes out his
right,
butt.
because they were both short and they both said better than the original, which I was like,
that is that.
that's a bold statement to put.
right.
It's a
I think
bold
the
statement, and
honest
I-
reviews that I've seen are like, look, it's good. It's nice. You're not gonna find it better than the original. You know, nothing will take their place. But they're not trying to. They're, you know, it's just trying to be something different, but not take the place of the original. So
Yeah, they're
You know, it's
trying
like,
to be
okay,
different but pay homage.
right. So that's like, okay, I get it. But like these two knuckleheads to say better than the original, no, sorry, buddy.
go watch it every day, and I'm sure after about maybe the third time, you're gonna want to kill yourself.
Yeah, I mean that's one of those movies that like holds up. I mean, I've watched that recently, probably.
And you still get jokes in it.
Yes,
You're like, oh,
yes.
I didn't get that.
Cool. All right, let's move on to movie,
that
TV
movie.
stuff.
All right.
Dan, you sound like you're ready to go.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say I'm still on the Star Trek kick. I've been watching The Next Generation with my wife. She's actually really enjoying it. I think the writing in that with the characters with Data and stuff. She says she likes Data the most, but of course he's the kind of comic relief sometimes because he just doesn't get it. He's like the little kid. But anyway, also got to see the movie Star Trek Beyond, and boy, I like that movie. It's a good popcorn flick. It's not going to move me because there's no backstory about Slimer in it. But,
It's a better than the original.
it's better than the original. I thought it was a fun movie, but they waste no time getting right into the action in that
Cool.
movie. It was just like you basically you turn it on, and they turn it on, and you strap in because there's a lot of action going in there. There's a little bit of a good bit of humor. It was a decent movie. It was what I expected out of a movie.
Is that the third one of the new? Okay.
Yeah, of the new ones. It has. Yeah, there's a plot twist in it that uses some kind of music, and when they pick the music, you're like, really, and but when they do it, you're in the ride, and you're like, man, that's kind of funny, and you're laughing, you're smiling, and then at the end of the scene, then you're like, wait a minute, this is a Star Trek movie. Why? What the heck was that doing in there? But it was pretty good though. I would recommend it. Go see it.
Derek, what about you?
This week, as far as movies, I've finally got to see Straight Outta Compton.
Straight Outta Compton.
It was on HBO, and that was a big part of my childhood. So I was interested in to finally see that. Timo told me to make sure I caught that. So I don't know if you like the NWA, and I think the casting was great. It was definitely worth a watch. And I think it's on HBO on demand. So
Now, if somebody never grew up with that kind of stuff, like I never listened to a lot of music in general when I was growing up, would it be useful?
yeah,
good
you
for
would
me
still watch
too?
it. Yep, it's got a story.
I would still watch
Yeah,
it.
It's got a story
it's
there.
a very interesting documentary, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
very-
got a story there. I mean, every character has a role and a part to play in the movie, so you don't need the backstory. I don't think.
You might. No, I don't think so. Like, I think the only thing is for those that listen to it, like, you feel nostalgia when you hear the songs that they're playing because they play like all their hits during the movie and stuff, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. And then there's one part where they show the actual video on MTV and stuff, and you see them. So you feel that. But other than that, it's a very entertaining. It's a good documentary. If you look up the true facts of everything that happened, it's pretty true to the facts. So it's a good movie.
It's a prequel because Slimer is actually Easy E. So you know, that's how that works out.
That all makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Oh man.
And
Is this going to be the one with Slimer?
and then me and my son caught the Maze Runner Scorch Trials, and
Yes.
we liked it.
Is that
We
Yes.
liked it a lot.
Wait a minute.
That was awesome.
Is that the sequel to the first one? or
Yes.
Yeah.
something? Is there-
That is the second one.
They made two of them?
Yeah, there's 3 books in the series, so I'm assuming there's going to be a third one coming.
Well, did you see that they made the Divergent series? They're going to finish out the movie trilogy because it did so great in the box office. You're going to finish that out on TV.
Yeah,
series.
my son, all his friends have seen every one of those too. So yeah, they're good movies. I enjoyed it, and you know it's got Littlefinger in it, so you know why not? And
Little-
Yeah, which you know, you spot that guy as a prick right off the back, right? Because that's how he plays in Game of Thrones. And
Yeah.
then it's like, lo and behold, look who the prick is in Maze Runner. Like, wow.
and he's
casting
a
call there, buddy.
he's a prick in Quantum Break as well too. He's the what?
Who are we talking about
I
here?
don't even know his name. We just call him Littlefinger.
Yeah, I don't know his name.
The guy who was the owner of the brothel, because you were
Yes.
like early Game of
Yes.
Thrones, right?
Right, yeah.
Oh, so his game. Oh, see, I haven't seen it.
Oh,
This
okay.
dude.
And he's the
kinda
main
looks a little
villain.
bit like Edward Norton, I think. But he is just like the biggest turncoat, stab you in the back prick.
Yeah.
And that's
He's
who
the-
he is in Maze Runner.
He's the main villain in Quantum Break, and they
Yeah, right.
they nailed his likeness big time.
That's
All they had to do was
that's
just make
I
hilarious.
say it's just a wiener. It's,
he just wobbles around. He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Wah wah wah. And as far as TV shows, I'm really into The Last Ship. I like my military procedural dramas, so I like how they do The Last Ship. It's focused on the Navy, and my brother's was in the Navy, and my nephew's in the Navy, so I kind of really like The Last Ship a lot. Good acting, cool story. It's not a zombie apocalypse story now. It's more or less a virus, that just
Dang it.
kills people. You don't come back alive, But Wayward Pines, I'm on the second season of that one. That one's really cool. It had Matt Damon in the first season.
Matt Damon.
Yep.
Oh, it had Matt Dillon.
Or Matt Dillon. I'm sorry.
Matt Dillon.
Matt Dillon.
Matt Dillon.
And they launched Marco Polo season 2 on Netflix.
Marco Polo.
So
Sorry,
I like the
stop.
Marco Polo as well. It's basically Japan and the Mongols back in the day fighting over.
Mongolians.
I like that kind of stuff. And I watched a new one on HBO. I'm only 3 episodes in. It's called The Night Of. It's really interesting. It's an 8-part miniseries on HBO. And it's kind of topical because, a young Muslim kid wanted to go to a party, and he woke up next to the girl he partied with and slept with, and she's been, just big time murder, blood everywhere. And he's got the murder weapon on him, but he thinks he didn't do it. And all the cops and everything are like, "Oh, he's a Muslim. People placed him at the scene of the crime. He's got the weapon on him. He did it." So, now it's all about, did he do it? Didn't he do it? So I'm trying to find out.
What do you think, Damien? Did he do it?
Dude, I tried to watch that show. I made it. I made it through like halfway through the first episode. I was just like, "This is dumb, man."
The second one was pretty good.
I don't know, man. I've heard all kind of people. Yeah, I've heard all kind of people say, I know maybe I should give it more of a chance, but there's just too many other things out there that are better to watch than wasting my time with something that just hasn't even piqued my interest at all. I mean,
Absolutely. Well, there's so many good TV shows out there. There's something for everybody. Not everything's for everyone. So you just, you watch what you watch. But I'm kind of intrigued. It's got me interested. So,
Damon, you want to tell us something that is better?
well, I wouldn't say this one's better, but I watched
Okay.
I watched Crimson Peak. Probably, the night of probably will end up being better. Not that great of a movie.
What's it about?
It's a Red Mountain, dude.
No, it's about. It's basically it comes down to like a couple of con artists, which was no surprise there. Like I saw the twist coming, but there was this whole haunted mansion like type feel to it as well. It's almost like they wanted to do this twist with them being con artists and conning this girl out of her money, but then at the same time putting in this actual ghost. And then 3/4 through the movie, they decided, well, we'll just forget about that ghost part and the jump scares from that. We'll just focus on the con of it. It wasn't even that scary. Wasn't that good.
no,
I wouldn't even watch it.
I wouldn't watch it.
Oh, this has got Tom Hiddleston in it. Okay.
But you can't recommend it. I mean, they're living in a house that has no roof. And there's
What?
Yeah, it's like there's leaves blowing all around, and everybody's freezing. It's like
and this dude's marrying his like third millionaire and still doesn't have money to fix the roof.
Listen, you want to talk about Slimer? They've got slime coming down the walls constantly, and it's pink. No one even cares.
Well, does it like get happy when it hears your love is lifting me higher?
I
it makes the house move.
You insufferable slime!
I couldn't finish the movie. I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Stupid.
Ray, you didn't sleep with it, did you?
The ending was like okay. I mean, you should have fast forwarded to that, but yeah, I get it. I get not watching it. Even though, wait, you put up with the night of, and you couldn't put up with Crimson Peak. Wow, that's amazing to me.
Okay, would you stay in a house where your walls are bleeding?
No, I mean,
I'm out.
I'm out. My walls bleed, dude. I'm not. There's no contractors gonna fix
And why
that.
isn't anybody saying that? It's like your ghetto cousin with cockroaches. Everybody sees them, but nobody says nothing.
It's like, dude, your house is full of roaches.
Yeah, it was pretty dumb. So, don't recommend it. Probably Snowpiercer's probably actually better.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, watch that.
You don't get very many of those with Damien.
Another movie I watched was Southpaw, which is with Jake Gyllenhaal playing a boxer. The story's been done before, especially with boxing, from Rocky to Cinderella Man. The guy who gets up on top of the world and then comes crashing down and then has to find redemption and come back. It's been done, but at the same time, this movie did it really good. It kind of did take a different direction. I didn't know anything about the movie, so I don't want to put any spoilers out there for anybody else because I didn't know what to expect going in. I just figured it was a boxing movie, and this guy is gonna. Yeah, I figured top of the world, down to the bottom, and back up again. But it hit a lot of emotions. I think it hits a lot of emotions for fathers and their kids and everything in it. So it's really good for that. But I enjoyed it. It was a good movie. So you should definitely check that one out. Southpaw, better than Snowpiercer.
Did you? This is something. Did you like that movie, Real Steel?
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed it.
All right.
Not movie of the year or anything. Better than Snowpiercer, but it was good. The other movie I watched is the one that Dan wants to criticize so much is Allegiant for the.
Oh, I'd never seen it. I was just saying that the ending's getting played out on TV. That's all.
Right. I saw that as well, which the wife and I went and looked it up because we actually enjoy this series a lot. In fact, she keeps the first two movies DVR'd permanently, and when nothing's on TV, she'll watch them again. I mean, they're good, and the third one was good too. It wasn't our favorite. Definitely, I still like them in order. I like the first one the best, and then the second one. I think my wife might like the second one a little bit better than the first one, but she thought the third one was just okay. So it's understandable why they felt like, hey, we're gonna stop making these movies, these big budget movies, and just go to a TV series, which is a shame because it's a good series. It's a good movie, even though this last movie wasn't the best one in the lot of the three of them. It was still, to me, it's still better than Snowpiercer, and that got its own movie. So It's good. I don't know if anybody's been watching it. I would definitely not just start with Allegiant because you have no idea what's going on. You should definitely invest in renting the first one and the second one and watching those. And then the last movie I watched is an old one, but I've heard a couple of times people were like, "Oh yeah, Lucky Number 11, good movie."
Remind me what that, because I know I've seen it. I cannot remember what it was about though.
Isn't that Josh Hartnett?
Josh Hartnett and Bruce Willis, and
that was it.
He has a case of mistaken identity where they think that he's this one person whose apartment he goes to stay in, and he ends up being bribed. Not bribed, but
I remember watching this movie like years ago.
Yeah, it's really old. He ends up being extorted by these gangsters to commit a hit, and then the other gangster, who's his rival, ends up getting him to commit a hit. I don't want to go too much in detail, but this movie, and I hope I'm not spoiling this, but it reminds me of The Usual Suspects, which is one of my favorite movies, and I love that movie. And this movie really did a good job of playing along those lines, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm glad I finally sat down and watched this movie, and I don't know the people who recommended it, but it is a great movie. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. Lucky Number 7, better than Snowpiercer.
Oh God. Okay.
I
got two. I know. I love you for it. I got two things. Well, one's kind of a half thing. I've seen a lot of buzz on the Twitters and whatnot about Stranger Things, which is a Netflix series. I watched the first episode and thought that my wife might actually enjoy it, so I stopped. I didn't get too much further. It's very 80s. Like if you saw what was the movie with the kids and the alien thing that came out? Not 8mm. Super 8. Yes. So you know how that had that big 80s vibe to it. This is that and then some, because they even do like the title screen, the music. Everything about it just screams 80s, and it's kind of like this weird X-Files town type thing where a kid disappears, but then there's all kinds of other crazy stuff going on. The first episode, really good. I want to finish it out. I've been hearing lots of good stuff, but I'm waiting for the wife to catch up. The only other thing that we saw was we got a red box the other night of Vivitch, which I think it's supposed to be witch, but instead of with a W, for whatever reason, they put 2 V's in the title.
I thought that was 2 V's in your show notes.
That is a stupid movie.
Why do you keep watching these dumb movies?
No, I mean, because it's a new horror movie. You know, we saw the trailer for it in theaters.
Like,
oh Jesus, my wife. If she was still up, I was gonna have her. She was angry at it at the. She was angry at the movie, and I wanted her to come on and give the review, but she's already gone to bed tonight. It's like it's old timey days. It's like way even before the Salem witch hunts and all that stuff. And this family goes out on their own to live off the land, and like the father is this super duper holy roller. You children are born with sin, and your whole life is sin, and you have to pray every day and every second to so that hopefully Jesus will accept you and you can get back into heaven and stop being such a sinner just with every breath you take. And then like anytime that they lie to protect him from something or something like that, he's just like cool with it, whatever. And then like weird stuff happenings, and it starts happening. A baby disappears, and the dialogue in it, we had to turn the captions on because they were speaking so old-timey, like "Doth hast come hither yonder," like all this crazy stuff, and we're just like, what is going on? And it's like these parents were making decisions that no parents would make about their children, and putting their children in situations that I don't even care about. Pioneer times where life is rough and everything is done by hand, and just completely idiotic things. And then you throw in the witchcraft stuff, and then the religion stuff, and it was just awful. And when it ended, it was just like, are you serious? That's really how you're ending this? And then they even put up a little blurb at the end about most of this was based on fact, and the dialogue was taken directly on how it's like, no, you just, after you filmed it and everyone said, I don't understand what they're saying or why they're saying it that way, you had to come up with some reason to make it authentic and artsy, but it was just crap. So
I love the way you describe movies. It really goes just like, yeah, so the movie started and then I was like, whoa, and then there was these things coming in, I'm like, what's going on? And then something else comes, and then the babies start disappearing, and I'm like, what? And I can't understand a word she's saying.
It could have been something. They had a premise there that they could have used, because it almost ended up being a whodunit type of thing. But
so the next podcast, what you're saying is you're going to read Jeremy's Metacritic review.
Oh God, we should do Metacritical on Vivitch and see what it is. But no, my wife was angry. She, I told you about how much trouble I got in when I made it.
She was mad
when I made her watch Tusk because I thought it was supposed to be good. She said that she was more angry at the I didn't pick this. This was a group effort, so I didn't get in trouble for this one. But she said that she would have rather watched Tusk again, and she hated Tusk. So. Which was funny because Tusk was a preview at the beginning of this one. But anyway, stay far away from Vivitch unless you hate yourself and want to watch garbage. But
Vivitch Witch.
Yes.
Yeah. With the Witch, I did watch The Last Witch Hunter also. I forgot about that. That
was the Vin Diesel joint?
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
We almost got that, but then I saw Vin Diesel dressed up as a witch hunter. I thought,
it's not bad.
I know.
He's only dressed up like that for like 5 minutes. And then,
it's actually good.
Yeah,
I know, Damien. I remember you saying it was good, and we said no.
Is that on the Flicks of Nets?
No, that is at the Box of Red.
No. Box of Red. Comes forth hither to the Box of Red.
That's how we need
go back from whence thou
That's how
came.
we need to read the next the review, the ASR Beware. We need to read it in old timey English.
All right,
I forgot one too.
Okay.
I watched the new series on HBO called Vice Principals with Danny McBride, and love it. I love it, man. I mean, I love Southbound and Down with Danny McBride, and now he's back in Vice Principals. And I've only seen the first episode. There's 3. I missed last week's, but the setting up is just that a new principal came in, and neither him or his cohort, which I don't even know who that guy is, but he's funny too, don't get the principal job, and now they're teaming up to go against the principal, which kind of knew that was going to happen. But the first episode is just setting that up, but still funny regardless.
Did you see who the old principal was?
Oh yeah, Bill Murray was the original one. That was great. I especially like when they were the girls singing for his wife, and she's there all sick and everything, and Danny McBride just gets up in the middle of it. He's like, "Hey, you think that's funny?"
It's right in the middle of a school concert.
Yes.
It was good. It's definitely worth a watch. I enjoyed it. Danny McBride is awesome in it.
Oh man, he is. Yeah.
All right. Well, we got a whole bunch of feedback, believe it or not.
Yeah,
so
we did.
again, one of the reasons why we wanted to have Derek on here, aside from being a dad and a podcaster and all that stuff, is he has been awesome and are probably our forerunner as far as feedback over the past 6 months or so. So Derek, we love you for that and appreciate it. So we might as well start off with what you asked us about a week or so ago. So this is from @DetroitSlasher from Open Forum Radio. It says,
let him read it.
All right.
Let him read it.
Well, I had to ask this because I was thinking of you guys
Of course.
when it happened.
Were you on the toilet?
I work in a warehouse, and I was down one of the aisles grabbing some tools, and I just let the loudest burp go, and it shrunk my stomach, and it echoed. And I was like, wow, that was impressive as hell. And I come out of the aisle, and I work with this guy, super quiet. He's one of those guys who never say anything. And he's standing there, and he looks at me, and he goes, I give it a 5. And I'm like, that's an 8 at least. A 5? You know,
maybe a
and
5 from where you were standing,
I
but
think I offended him. You know, I mean, he wasn't close enough to me to smell what I had for lunch or anything, but I think he got offended. So
he gave it 5 stars, but actually gave it a 9. So, you know,
I thought I was waiting for you to say. Then he let out like the even louder burp than you did.
He was just
was
like, no.
booger.
yeah. Yeah, so it was, have you ever burped so loud you feel like you lost a pound and offended someone next to you? So I will give you yes and yes, but not with the same one. So like I've never been able to accomplish both in one fell swoop. Yeah, so I don't know what about, and it's funny when I read this, I thought of my son because whenever he burps now, he's like, "Oh, now I have more room, like to keep eating." So,
Yeah.
So I don't know, Damien, Dan, how have you guys been on the burping front?
So mine is actually no and no.
Okay.
I've never burped so loud that I felt like I lost a pound. What I have done is, and I've only done this maybe once, maybe twice, and I'm just not remembering, is burp so loud that it hurts. I don't feel like I've lost a pound, but like I get
Your
chest
vocal cords
burn.
just stretch out.
I think I ripped something.
I think right, exactly. Like, oh my goodness, was that a burp or was that my heart screaming out that I just had a heart attack? Like, no, it just such pain. And
My wife scared my daughter once, like legit scared her because it was just so loud and sudden. It's like, "Bah!" And my daughter's just kind of sitting there.
and that was what I was gonna say. I don't think I've ever offended anybody because I don't really drink a lot of soda, so I really don't belch that much. But my wife, she doesn't drink a ton of soda either, but she will every now and then. And when she does, let me tell you, it's like like all loud. And I'll be next to her at the table, just like, "Excuse you." She's like, "Oh, sorry, it just had to come out," you know.
Oh, she doesn't blow it at you?
Oh,
she just
got to give her a high five.
I kind of do that when I burp and I like know that this because it's gonna stink. But it's, I kind of go bruh, and I kind of lean away and go.
Spaghetti is always good for those.
Right. So I haven't burped so loud that I've never thought that I've lost weight because of it. I mean, I've felt better after I've done it, of course. And offended people, I don't know. I tend to keep a good bit of friends around me that, they're not really going to get offended if I burp. But I try to keep that. I'll tell you what, like Damien said, I'll tell you what I have done. It's nothing completely anything like this, but it kind of reminded me of this. I have taken a dump so big that I instantly got hungry afterwards.
Wow.
That's not how it works, but all right.
I know it's not how it works, but I can't.
poop was
I
not
can't,
in your
I can't
stomach.
describe it other than that.
So what's for lunch?
It was like, and then I just got done, and I'm like,
Now you sound,
man, I'm
now
hungry.
you sound like your son. Oh, now I got more room.
Right.
Now I got more room.
We're starting this one
We'll
off.
work
with
on a
poop and ending with
displacement.
poop. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Next question that came in. This is kind of a serious one, so I'm curious. I have an idea who's going to say what, but we'll see. This comes in from Matt Helmer on Facebook, who is also Devious Mr. Matt. We mentioned him last episode after his motorcycle accident. From what I hear, he's had a full recovery and everything's good and back to normal. So we're very happy to hear that. Unfortunately, his motorcycle did not make it, which is spurring on this question. Should I or shouldn't I get another motorcycle? My wife isn't too thrilled about the idea, but two wheels have been a part of my life ever since I learned to ride a bike. What say you? Replace my totaled bike or forget it? It's Chinatown, man.
I want to hear you tell us how we're going to answer it.
I think...
Yeah. Why don't you read it
I
in
think
our
you
voice?
both are going to tell him to do it and to get another bike and to get back on that horse, so to speak, is what I think.
Is that what
No,
you're
that's
saying?
what I think. I know. I'm fairly certain Damien's
All right,
going to say that, and I think you'll probably sway that way too, Dan. Derek, I'm sorry, I don't know you
all
well
right,
enough to guess for you. But
Well, I'll tell you what. Here's the thing. There is part of me that wants to say, go ahead and get that motorcycle. All right. And get back on. I mean, that's something you like doing. However, and this is the sign I'm going to lean on. You cheated that once, man.
Yeah.
Don't push it again. But that would be the way I would look at it, because I'd never ridden a motorcycle, and I don't know the thrill of it and whatever it is that But again, man, for me, I look around at what I got and I say, yeah, I don't want my kids, growing up based on somebody else's stupid decision that that I'm smeared all over a road. So yeah, if it were me and I came out of what you came out, I would have been like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that right now. I might do something like one of those trike things, just to kind of tool around, but not like a motorcycle like that.
What?
Damien?
No. Hey, Jeremy, ding! X gets a square. Good job, buddy. You nailed it. Absolutely. You can't get any worse, dude. You just got struck by lightning. The chances of it happening again are like 5 billion more at odds of happening again. So just go ahead and get you another motorcycle. Get back on that horse, man.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Get a sidecar.
I mean,
Man.
I totally don't think you should change your life or what you've been doing just because you had this one crash. You're just as likely to get into a crash in a vehicle, especially what happened to you is somebody not paying attention, and you can get hit just as easily in a car. And while you
But you're more likely to survive that kind of a crash in a car than
be
a
surprised,
motorcycle.
man.
Well, yeah, I am surprised. I mean, the hit that Matt took, I was. Ugh.
What about you, Derek?
Well, I don't think you should change your life for terrorists, and you shouldn't change your life.
That
I'm so
guy's
glad he
terrorist,
brought that
man.
around.
Terrorist win.
Terrorists
I agree
win
with
if you don't
Damon.
get a bike.
No,
Terrorist
Just
win.
go see Ghostbusters. It's cool. There's too much evil. in the
Slimer
world.
wins.
I agree with Damien because I have had a motorcycle in the past, and it is exhilarating, and it's something he really enjoys doing. He loves his motorcycle rants, except for the time he sneezed in his helmet. That was kind of messed up. You know, I felt his pain on that one. That's got to be gross, but no, it's something he likes doing, man. It gives him his pleasure. Life is short, and you got to enjoy it. I know it's kind of selfish in a way because if he gets hurt, his family has to suffer, but you know, you can't live your life with what could, what may, and what's going to happen. I mean, if it's something you want to do,
Fair
do
enough.
it, man.
And like I said, I can see both sides of the coin. However, if it was me, I would have said, yeah, I'm gonna put
Right,
it
and that's kind of where I landed. Is that I see both sides. I think for me, I get where Damien's coming from, and where Derek as well is. You know, you can't expect that to always happen. I think, you know, had the circumstances be different and like maybe that happened because he was being stupid, you know, then no, maybe that changes your outlook on it.
And it's,
Also, you know, if he had like kids my age at home, like very young, I would say like you, Dan, I kind of have more important things, you know, in front of me right now that I need to be more concerned about. Now, if his kids were like, let's say Christian's kids' ages where they're practically either out of the house or almost out of the house, you got a lot less people relying on you in something like that. But also like you, Dan, I don't have motorcycles in my life, or, you know, the only thing I could say that would be, you know, that big of a part of my life would be video games. So now would I give up video games for, you know, it, you know, I can't
Slimer
draw a
came out,
comparison.
slimed you.
Right. Yeah. You know, it's hard to make a comparison to something like that because I guess I don't have something in my life that I feel that passionate about that would put myself in that kind of danger. So, you know, it's a hard thing, especially with the wife too, because obviously happy wife, happy life, but at the same time, you don't want to appease her and then end up resenting her in the process for it.
well, aren't you glad we
Yeah.
answered that, Matt? I mean, we got a 50-50
Right.
here. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, and you know, and again, he was on here. I don't recall how old his kids were. I would say, you know, yeah,
They're
maybe
older.
ask your kids.
Yeah, your
what
kids
they
are
think.
older. You can die. It's all right. Go
Yeah, it's
ahead.
cool. They don't need you as much. Especially if they're teenagers, they probably want you to, you know, at your break
Right, they
times.
probably
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
you.
How much is your life insurance, Dad?
Yeah. So yeah, Matt, I don't.
Are you worth more dead than alive? That could help.
Right. Yeah, sorry, Matt. We can't give anything concrete, but you know that's a great question, and I don't know. Maybe we'll get some more listeners who are enthusiasts or went through something similar. And they'll have-
My argument for terrorist win is worth 2 points. So
It
y'all
is-
are
I
out.
will. I will concede to that. Absolutely.
That was pretty funny.
I'm pretty sure the guy who pulled out in front of him was wearing a turban of some kind. We're just gonna be racist. Carter Jelassic on Facebook says thoughts on the release of Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2 and previous downloads not being available for either title. Now I don't know if he means DLC or like I own it digitally on 360 and I can't just get it for Xbox One. I'm not sure there, but I don't. That thing kind of opened up to a lot of excitement, and then when it actually happened, everyone was like, "Hey, what is this garbage?" So, did any of us buy it? Okay.
Nope, don't care.
Okay.
No, I played them both, and I'm happy with what I played when I played them.
Back in the day, yeah. Damien.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about this until I heard it on Everyday Gamers, them talking about it. So I had no idea that this was even announced or was coming out. I completely missed the
It was
announcement.
like a week. It was like a week after they announced it that it came out.
It came out, right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not so excited. I want to run out there and play it. I played the first one a good bit. I played the second one even less. So this is a game that interests me. However, I'm not, what is it, like $50 or $60 or something?
It's 40 for one or 60 for both.
40 for one. Wow.
Yeah.
See, I'm not doing that. Now, if this game is on PSN or Xbox Gold sale for $5, maybe $10, I might buy both of them. Not just one. I might buy them like that. But I mean, I think it's cool that they're doing it. Hey, maybe you'll get some money. They were great games, but I'm not paying $40, $50 for something.
No, for that price, that's almost like a brand new remaster of each.
Right.
You know.
Well, and they're remastering.
Sounds like
yeah,
a
they're
negative
remastering
on
the
the
first Darksiders,
Darksiders.
and it's only come out at like 20 or something like that. And it's like that's got to be way more work than what those were. And that's just talking about the console stuff. Blue Man Rule, our friend Larry sent me something because the Steam reviews, and I took a look at those, are just scathing because I guess the PC versions of those are a hot mess. And I mean, like, the sound doesn't work right, the controls don't map right, the keyboard controls don't even work at all in some points and stuff like that. So apparently it was very, very poorly done. So yeah, those are neat games. I honestly don't know that I would, even if it got down to say $10 or $20 for each one. I played them back in the day. I played each one all the way through. I don't know that I want to go back to that, especially with other things like Marvel Heroes being out now, which is at least as good as those as far as like having the rosters and the powers and all that stuff, and that's free. Yeah, I don't know. They definitely, especially on the PC side, would have to fix a lot of things, and that price would have to come way down. So,
yeah, that's a no-go for me, though.
Apparently on Discord, we're getting some feedback, too. So Jedi Dad wants to know, are there any games coming out the rest of the year that you are all looking forward to?
All looking forward to.
So I think, what, Gears? Is that the only one we probably have a consensus on?
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm Gears.
Or Battlefield.
I'm Gears and Battlefield 1, but I don't think Jeremy is.
I'm on the Battlefield. Will have to be a good discount. I don't know. We'll see what else is going on at that time because I might be bored with whatever I'm playing then. We'll see. It's not that I don't like it. It's just I only really enjoy it when I'm playing with you guys because I'm so awful.
When does Battlefield come out again?
Sometime in October.
Captain Mike M, whoever this is on Discord, wants to know which cast member of DGG is going to quit social media next. Dan, why don't you take this one?
So yeah, I quit the Twitters. I quit the Twitters. I didn't quit social media.
I don't. You quit it. That's fine. But you didn't go out with a blaze of glory. You just kind of like snuck out in the middle of the night, and took your stuff.
Do I need to go out in the blaze of glory? Should I like light the place on fire and then just go
burning bed?
What was I gonna? What would I have
done?
done?
Something about terrorism, probably terrorism and Slimer.
I should have just said I quit Twitter. Terrorists win.
Exactly. Yeah, you just slunk out of there.
Terrorists won since you quit Twitter.
Where's Dan?
So, yeah, they're right. I was the only one holding them back. Right.
ISIS is celebrating. Way to go, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
You're
they got
welcome.
their cake and
I
ice
didn't quit
cream.
social media. I didn't quit social media altogether. I had two of them, and I weighed the benefits of Twitter versus Facebook, and I not that I really like social media altogether. I think it's a good tool for some things, but social media kind of is.
So was it politics or Pokemon?
I personally
Which one drove you off.
Okay. Pokemon. No, that's good enough for you. And for Damien, it was the terrorists, the tourists. But anyway, yeah, I'm just more active on Facebook because I can manage the DGG Facebook page a little bit better. I was trying to juggle both, and I just didn't. Well, I didn't think I was doing too good of a job of it. So
okay.
So I stopped it.
I don't see me quitting either one anytime soon, Damien. Right.
I can't quit you,
Damien.
Oh. Yeah, I thought it was just which one person.
It was a dig at me.
He said next,
was a
and this
dig
was
at me.
after Dan had done it, so I assumed he
Yeah.
thinks one of us is dropping out. But if you would like to give us that feedback on Twitters, the remaining accounts are at DGG Podcast, at
You're fading fast.
After5051, and at Ruiner2, or also at Dad's Hideout. We take a look at that as well.
We are also on Facebook.
We are also
Dad's
Facebook /
Dad's Getting Grounded.
and also Dad's Hideout
Right.
as well there.
Yeah.
So that's where and the
The
no,
Zazzle.
no, the Discord, because 2 of those came in from Discord. How do we?
Oh yeah. That's we've been doing that with the site. It's kind of what Damien was saying was the new chat
Okay.
box. So we've been kind of going back and forth on that, and there's different channels, and we have a DGG channel on that server, so you can post questions in there.
How would someone find that?
I don't know, Damien.
Oh, you have to get invited to the Discord server, so
All
you're
right,
gonna
well,
have
contact
to
us in one of those other ways, and we'll
right.
send
Like
you-
Gham on the Twitters just sent me a message asking to be invited to the Discord server, and I got him an invite out, and now he's part of our community, sharing hijinks over there with us.
Well, that is just splendid. Fantastic. Again, I mentioned at the top of the show, this is a podcast for dadshideout.com, the online man cave for dads, where we are dads first and everything else second.
And then get our swag
We do
at
have swag at
Zazzle.com/.
Zazzle. I've been getting some swag just to kind of see what some of the quality
Yeah.
is like. So far, everything has been pretty cool and pretty good. I got like a phone cover. I got a coffee mug.
I'm still waiting for my flipping hat.
The hats take a little longer to go out, but we got some T-shirts on the way. Some listeners actually have been gifted some swag, so that's kind of out of pocket type stuff. And I'll say, let us know if you're interested in maybe getting some of that. I make zero promises, and a lot of that has to do with bank account as well as the promotions that Zazzle runs all the time. But I was actually able to get out some stuff to some listeners and people who have helped us out in the past. Pretty reasonable price, some stuff, and also to get some feedback from them on how good the stuff is that they're getting as well. So if that's something that interests you, zazzle.com/dadsgettinggrounded. iTunes, Google Play, all that good stuff. Derek, won't you tell us a little bit more about Open Forum Radio, in case anyone hasn't heard about that yet?
Well, Open Forum Radio is similar to you guys. We have a website. We have a great group of podcasts that you can tune in and hopefully find something you like. We do a community podcast with Timo, Vlads, Jay O'Malley, and myself. And, occasionally Blue Man Rule will grace us with his presence, but he's got a lot going on. So we usually hit some topics. We usually do our weeks in reviews and it's a little bit of news and then some witty banter. And hopefully you guys would check us out and see if you like it.
Cool. All right. Well, anything else you want to plug or promote or talk about while we got you on before we wrap up?
No, I just want to give a shout out to you guys at the Dad's Getting Grounded podcast for having me on, man. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
We like having people on. It's a lot of fun. I don't want to listen to Christian all the time.
Yeah. So now, Derek, as the guest, you do have to take Christian's spot and give us a Tard Blaster tale. I don't know if you read that disclaimer in the agreement that you signed. I'm kidding.
I skip over disclaimers.
All right. Well, let's just wrap things up then. Thanks again for listening. We'll be back in a couple weeks, and that's about all I got. Come hither forth and doth listen again. Please
go back from whence thou came.
Vivid.
Turn on subtitles.
They don't pick this time of the day to spring unpleasant surprises on them.
I am your father.
If they have disagreeable views, they'll postpone the discussion until another time.
You killed my father. Prepare to die.
I know, a guy complaining about it being huge. That's crazy.